I just graduated from Barnard. I studied sociology.
Yeah.
And I started a group when I was a junior called Student Worker Solidarity, SWS. A couple people have mentioned it. And it started when it was the first day back on campus in the fall, and I was like getting ready for my classes, and I just switched my major to sociology, which was a great choice from Complit. And I got this flyer from a union organizer that was standing outside the Barnard gates, and it said, "Please support Barnard workers." And I had been looking for a way to engage with the workers on campus for a while. My boyfriend at the time was a union organizer, and I had started to become more and more interested in these labor issues. So I got the flyer, and basically the point of action on the flyer was to sign a petition to President Spar, beloved President Spar, not really. And so the petition, the workers were negotiating a contract. They were workers who swipe you in at the dorms and people that work as secretaries in the academic departments. And the administration, there were a lot of cutbacks on the table. The administration was trying to reduce maternity leave, which at a women's college is incredibly ironic. So that was a point we wanted to harp on when I gathered a couple of friends who've now graduated, and we decided to mobilize around this issue. So I come to this from that, and that group just sort of became official, and we had a few other campaigns after the Barnard Workers one, which happily was a victorious one. And so I'm still learning a lot about labor. I'm from Portland, Oregon, which is also a very progressive place, and going back home every time I'm struck by how racially segregated it also is. I wanted to talk about this sort of tension that I'd been thinking about in activism between working towards making incremental changes versus having this more radical, perhaps revolutionary ideology. And sometimes the two seemingly can't be reconciled. And I worked 2 summers ago for a prison reform organization. They didn't call themselves that, they called themselves like prisoner advocacy organization in Harlem. And one of the things that we did there was we visited men's prisons upstate to try to advocate on behalf of the incarcerated population and improve living conditions, which in effect was just doing small reforms. And this one time, we had just gotten back from a prison visit, and we had gone to a prison that incarcerated a lot of 16 to 18-year-olds, so basically kids. And I had walked with my supervisor, Scott, through this solitary confinement unit, which is where people are held at least 23 hours a day. And I remember trying to talk to them in their cells, because we would go up and ask them how they were doing and try to find out information on how their lives are in these cells. And I remember just yelling to try and communicate with them. Just the person standing 2 feet away from me, but there was this thick metal door, and it was just a situation of complete dehumanization. And later, when I got into the car, we were driving back with the rest of the staff, I just felt so frustrated because previously I'd had so much hope in what this organization could do to change the system even slightly. And I remember asking my supervisor, just point blank, what can we do? And his answer sort of shocked me at the time, because he just sounded so comfortable in saying that he said, well, like one day mass incarceration will end. One day, you know, we're going to look back on this and say, how could we have done this to other people? Just as we do with slavery. Arguably, this is another form of that. And he said, you know, I think this is a fad that will fade away. And at the time I was like, but that's not enough. Like, we need to end mass incarceration now. We need like a social movement. I still believe that. But what am I getting to here? But I think, and I've also encountered this like strange comfort that people have with acknowledging that one day the existing system won't exist as it does. And I think that, so basically what I want to say is, I think that idea can sort of serve as a form of hope in fueling the small changes that we'll probably be doing this summer. And yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind. So basically you can have like the overarching, more radical ideology and also implement smaller changes.